So today is officially the first full day in Shanghai, China. And I have to tell you, wow, what a different neighborhood I am in. So in the last video, arrived, went through immigration, got into the country, and first things first, we made it down to the water, to this crazy Shanghai skyline, extremely impressive. So the Pudong area, the business district that you see on the other side of the water. Shanghai is a city like no other. Today I want to show you a couple of different sides. And around there is kind of like older architecture, traditional, the history of Shanghai. And that is where I spent the first 2 days. And for the first time, I have now moved into pretty much one night. I've moved now into the city center, and I have to tell you, it looks and feels especially very different. So for the first time, we're gonna hit the streets right now together, get some impressions. So this is center. I'm actually living right there. I'm gonna show you a bit later what that is about. This Starbucks over here is absolutely insane. So somebody from the hotel told me that this used to be the biggest Starbucks in the world. I never like to get my coffee at Starbucks, but you cannot deny the fact that they set up some crazy operation here overall. And yeah, big squares, big walkways, but in many ways what this area, why it feels so different to me, it feels very like, I don't know, maybe perhaps big city vibes, New York, London. And in the sense that some parts are just modern, just big buildings. Other parts are cute little old traditional buildings, Shanghai history on every corner. And so yeah, today hopefully check out a couple of different neighborhoods, get a real feeling for the city. Let's go. Fit Panda life over here. Not sure what it's about, but Fit Pandas. So starting off, we're basically at West Nanjing Road. There's like a mall complex, lots of street food, but where I'm passing through is a little bit the older buildings. And when I first arrived here, that is the first area that I checked out. And I thought it was really different, so that's where we're headed to right now. But yeah, a bunch of different Chinese snacks, kind of like a nice mix of a really modern and in some ways fancy area, but at the same time they have these like street stalls. And no matter the day, it almost like Shanghai is generally a bit, how to say it, high energy. Like it's a city, it's a financial hub. People, everybody that wants to live here, like there's no breaks. But at the same time, every day, in terms of how busy it is and how people go out, feels also a little bit like a Friday or Sunday, perhaps. So you see all around us are towering skyscrapers. And this right here used to be kind of like one of the really old neighborhoods, and they're basically completely renovated it. I think some are private, others are little cafes, and I think it's amazing. Instead of just tearing down, oh yeah, it's a Louis Vuitton. Look at that. What is going on? Is this like a public shop? Not properly? I guess. I can buy Louis Vuitton here? Louis Vuitton? Yeah? Okay. So I would say what is the coolest part about this neighborhood is very much the mix of old and new. I think this neighborhood until a couple of years ago was just old houses, and now they're kind of like transforming it into, yeah, just shops, things like that. Here, look at the type of cafes. Very busy. People are enjoying, and just the buildings. Again, they kind of like restored them, made like really cool, very tasteful places out of it. And I think for many people thinking of China, thinking of big cities, you would think it's only like new skyscrapers, everything. But I think what a way to preserve, on the one way, the old buildings instead of just tearing them down, but also like really chill. Oh, there's even the metro station. Exactly, this is where I came out earlier when I was arriving here. So yeah, this is the vibe around this neighborhood. So we're right now on Julu Road, and I have to tell you, what a different vibe from everything I've seen so far. So it's like a narrow, really quiet street. You have the trees pretty much covering all of it, old style buildings and really cute cafes. by the side of the road, like a very slow paced around here. People just sitting on their chairs, sipping on a coffee. And from what I understand, this street is also very much nightlife, probably somewhere around here, like little rooftop bars, but in many ways kind of the old district. And honestly, I dig the vibe. Very chill. Probably in the evenings get busy. Looks like we have wandered into some type of little concert. People seem to enjoy it, all gathered around it. And look at that, he has all his scan codes so you can find him. And over here, this is one of the main reasons why I set this area on the map. Wow, and it does not disappoint. So basically it's an ancient Buddhist temple. Look at that. Let's head there. So guys, real quick, before we continue with today's adventure, I have to tell you, there's no more frustrating thing than being on the road, your suitcase gives up on you, or you have a huge bag on your back that is just weighing you down. I'm telling you, the solution is having a high quality luggage, and in this case, level 8. So I've been with their suitcases on the road for many years now, and I have to tell you, next to looking absolutely slick, so their aluminium line, the Gibraltar carry-on, their checked luggage with the wide grip, the selection is really big, and especially the carry-on cases, I have to tell you, it's luxury quality, very durable, with a lifetime warranty. In case anything happens, reach out to the customer support, but at the same time at a much more affordable price than comparable brands with a similar quality. So I have to tell you, this is the level 8 carry-on pro with a laptop sleeve. Has been my favorite for a while in terms of the elegance, but also the durability, the premium aluminium suitcase, the Gibraltar carry-on. So with my code right now, Danny15, you can get 15% off any of their pieces, worldwide shipping. So no matter where you are, you can get your hands on one of them. So no matter where you're traveling, be it Shanghai, be it China, be it some tropical places, be it some, I have to tell you, carry-on, even for adventure travel, I think is the better option personally, out of experience. I'm telling you, with the back problems, with carrying it around, if you are traveling in style, the checked luggage, absolutely out of this world. So just check out their website, use my code Danny15 to support the channel here as well. And with that, well, let's get back to today's adventure. So this basically is the huge Jing temple. Probably you pronounce it a bit differently, but basically it's one of the oldest temples. I just saw a sign that this temple was established before the city of Shanghai itself, but over the years has been destroyed many times, then rebuilt. And yeah, it looks absolutely massive, especially surrounded by skyscrapers and malls. It's kind of interesting, but at the same time, the way they preserved it, such an epic structure, and rebuilt it perhaps. Wow. And the whole district here is named actually after this temple. So pretty much everything we've seen so far is walking distance, more or less, from where I'm staying. And I'm just realizing these Apple crazy mofos. Look at that. This spaceship down there, you can guess what that is. So you're definitely, if you're coming for shopping here, not going to be in a shortage of anything. There's a mall on every single corner. It's quite crazy. And also what is quite crazy is that every single district in Shanghai so far that I've been to, and I've walked around quite a lot, is really livable in the sense of many nice cafes, many nice but the character is very different. Some are super quiet, like the one we walked through before, and some are just, you know, metropolitan city surrounded by all these skyscrapers. Actually, I was considering to stay in that place over there when I was planning my time, so also a good neighborhood. But yeah, I would say let's grab a taxi and let's go to the old Shanghai, a legendary place, they told me. Let's check it out. So the buses look quite sleek, but the problem is Google Maps is not going to tell me how to go. I don't know the app to figure this stuff out. But somebody told me I can set up Alipay, and for the first time I'm using it to order a taxi. The taxi is on the way. Should be going through my credit card, hopefully. So let's see if all of that's gonna work out. Somebody else ordered me a taxi before and you needed to give them like a code when they arrive. I don't see a code on here, so taxi adventure begins to a very different neighborhood, I think. So guys, my guy is here, nicely right in front of the temple. Up. Yup. Ni hao.
We all wear that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was pretty easy. The route kind of disappeared from my phone. I hope the guy gets paid. I'll make sure in the app. It should be. And yeah, so if you're in China, looks like Alipay is working. Had some issues in the airport with it for the first time, but basically to get back to where we are in the district where is the Wukang Road, and almost anybody I talk to has been to Shanghai, anybody at like the Places Estate, they say this is a legendary road. So the building we should be approaching here, the Wukang Mansion, it's kind of like very famous for the fact that a lot of politicians, celebrities, mostly from China, so I just checked the list online, don't know anybody, but you see it, people take photos all around. I think it's the building in front of us, and from what I hear is basically the Wukang Mansion has been built in 1924, so celebrating the big one, 100 years. And it has been designed by, I believe, a Slovak architect or something like that, in the French style. And yeah, wow, okay, I get it. We must see it any second, but basically this is the road, we're gonna head there. And yeah, it looks very different, very European in many ways, very busy, cafes left and right. And so far that is Shanghai in so many ways so interesting, so many different contrasts, so many different vibes. Like Hong Kong doesn't have that for me that much, or of course like cities like Shenzhen or something like that, or oh wow, okay, so extremely well maintained as we see. So this is basically the building, has like a couple of nice balconies, probably these boxes are air conditioning would be my guess. Looks a little bit like a small flatiron building. But yeah, let's walk into the Wukang Road and see what's going on there. So as you can tell, the hype is real. Everybody is taking a non-stop photo basically. And generally also filming in China so far has been really easy, really chill. Most people don't mind, don't care, minimal curiosity. And yeah, so basically this is kind of like the intersection with the building, lots of small little houses, obviously also just newer built Chinese residence blocks. And walking in, from what I understand, if we're gonna walk through, there's a bunch of different residences where over the last couple decades, perhaps even the last 100 years, somebody was assassinated here. And it's funny, when you look up this building, there's this search result that comes up and it says, what is Wukang Mansion famous for? And then it says it's haunted by the ghosts, by the people that what is the word we can use right now? Well, it's self-deletion basically, let's say it like that. Quite interesting that that comes up as for one of the reasons why it's famous. But yeah, let's see if we can cross. Basically very busy, almost like hard to walk on the pedestrian pathway, and people seem hyped, and that's what I actually really like, that they have so much history, especially Shanghai, over 100 years. So here we see built in 1933, Mediterranean style resident. So it used to be the residence here almost 100 years ago of some Italian politician. Now they pretty much opened it up, advertising one of the Chinese electric SUVs, which are pretty much everywhere, and they look pretty good. And looks like it's pretty much the whole street's almost like a museum with some cafes basically. So I would say the impressions are that it's like super chill once again. People strolling both sides of the road. You got like people on bikes. It's actually crazy how many people use the public bikes, which are pretty much everywhere. Fancy dogs, fancy. It's like in many ways because a lot of like, let's say, European influence from the times when different parts of the town kind of were like, I guess you could say, I think they used to call it a concession. And now it's like a super fashionable district, lots of interesting looking people. But for me personally, I came even more so. It's nice to see the history. It's nice to see also that people are excited to kind of like appreciate it, the older parts of the town, and maintain them. But at the same time, I'm more interested in some more Chinese vibes, some more local areas. So
Oh, sorry.
no, it's okay. No idea what it is, but they have a flying bicycle. It's kind of like art gallery shop. Very interesting. That's exactly what I was looking for actually here in Shanghai. Looks like something Kanye would wear. Oh, okay. It's a store. Wow. It's a store. Interesting. Right now we are on a neighboring road. We pretty much walked through the whole Wukang Road, a little bit over a kilometer. And the neighboring road is actually quite a bit more busy. People doing content everywhere, left and right. Like you have to say, like China has their own platforms like Xiaohongshu, Red, and people are going crazy. Like I see everywhere people live streaming, things like that. So in terms of that, busy. So this is the Anfu Road, and honestly, in some ways I like the energy a bit better because the Wukang Road is kind of like, in some ways, feels much more European. Lots of like European whatever politicians have their residences there, famous Chinese people mostly also, and we're very much so right now in the north, I believe, quite far from the city. And here it's just kind of like a nice shopping street, probably in some ways not as famous as the Wukang Road, but to me still is like a nice mix, a little bit more modern. Still got the old buildings over here, and like I said, everybody got a sick setup around here. You know, long black ice. One. Wow. I think my Alipay worked. For the first time I paid now with Alipay. That's pretty dope. And where I was planning to sit is occupied now. You cannot have it all. Very nice. Nice black and white, huh? What are you? You're a photographer or?
Little English.
Little English?
Can you check?
You, photographer?
Okay.
Okay.
This is Marco. You're a student?
No.
You're still young.
I'm pretty young, yeah. Try to stay young. What do you think? How young am I? How many years? How many years?
No.
What do you think? Me? How many?
26.
27. 27. So got my hands on some ice black, long black, pretty good actually. What is it, like $3.50? The taxi actually here was really cheap. The taxi is pretty cheap. I just checked the taxi to the next location I want to check out today. It's going to be more than half an hour ride, so I'm considering to take the metro. And yeah, overall, really cool area. But let's see. I would say let me show you where I stay, which pretty much from there you can go anywhere. You can go to the Bund within like 30-40 minutes. Lots of different neighborhoods, very central. The Middle House. Let's check it out. Let me show you around. And talking about a place to stay in Shanghai, this location is exactly what I was looking at. So we're really central. We can pretty much walk everywhere. Like I said, we're looking down on one of these main squares I've showed you earlier, and we are staying at the Middle House. This is it, pretty much. And as of for the, let's say, hotel portion of today's video, let me give you a quick tour. So this is the Gray Cafe on the 3rd floor. You're getting a nice view, you're getting a nice vibe. On the weekend it's pretty busy, but generally I would say it's like a mid-size hotel, but it feels extremely boutique. So it's actually fairly large. But let's go in. I would say we're gonna go down to the lobby in a second, but just the elegance, the style, the whole vibe of it is very, in some ways, kind of like a bit of a lounge feeling. You get the browns, you got this actually real gas fire over here, a bunch of different terraces on the side, and I think they have like 13 floors. Amazing, crazy, amazing gym actually. But let me take you down to give you an idea how it looks where we are. So standing in front of it, it's a nice, I would say, building, but inside, the way they designed it, it's minimalist in some ways, kind of fancy in other ways. As you see, we got some Shanghai wealth here in front of it. Looks pretty crazy. And yeah, walking in, I think we're staying on the 13th floor. Excited to show you also the view. But generally, I would say just because of the location, you can kind of like walk everywhere from here more or less. It's really good. They actually have 2 buildings. So this is the main building. In the second building over there, you can walk over easily. They have like a really nice staircase leading to one of the restaurants, the Fresca restaurant. I think Italian modern food. Tried it out yesterday. It's pretty good. Today I think we're gonna try the Asian restaurant, which I'm really excited about. But coming in, there's a couple of moments that are like really impressive here. So this ginormous chandelier is basically leading you in. As you hear, the music is kind of like very old school. Overall, the whole energy in the hotel is very calm, peaceful, dimmed lights, as you can see. And I would say, let me take you up to the room, give you a quick idea. But I would say my favorite part, next to just the design, the whole energy, must be the gym area. So, or let's say the pool area to be more specific. So they have it on the ground floor. So that must be the nicest elevator music ever. Just stopped it because it's probably copyrighted. But what I was telling you a second ago is that the pool area looks extremely aesthetic. The sauna, the gym, I've been there this morning. You know, when you're traveling to have that little escape. Generally, this is like very much an urban sanctuary. Like it's really calm everywhere, and the way they designed it also, it's very, very modern, but at the same time it has a cultural touch to it. So coming into the room, lots of glass. We have a nice view of the old part of Shanghai. You're gonna probably see more in today's video about it. There is one of the main shopping streets leading through here, and basically like a nice seating area. The bed is a bit messy right now, but I'm gonna show you when it's made up. And here, that's what I mean, kind of like still nice arched traditional touches. The artwork, of course, mini bar, or they call it, I think, maxi bar. All the drinks are complimentary, nice coffee machine. And what I actually like quite a lot is to have this huge wardrobe, which looks like a bit of a mess right now, to be fair with you. But just can store all your things here, keep the room nice and tidy, and super nice bathroom as well, with a bathtub, which I haven't used, but nice shower. So overall, due to the, I would say on the one side, the vibe of the place, but even more so the location, like if you want to have the crazy Shanghai view, staying by the Bund is nice. But it's just one of many areas, and here you're kind of like centered in the middle of it. Got nice restaurants, and yeah, this is the Middle House, the home during the time in Shanghai. where we just arrived should be the Yuyuan Garden. We're much closer to the water again. I think by the end of the video you're gonna see the insane Shanghai skyline again. But in many ways I think today's video is very much so like Shanghai is not what you might think. It's not just the modern skyscrapers, it's not just a city that has been built in the last couple of years. You really see and feel the history, and at the same time super fashionable city. Like you have to say, the neighborhood we were oh, it's probably raining, people are hiding here. Let's see, we're going to the gardens and it's raining. Woo, nice. The refreshment when I was entering into the subway, it was kind of like starting to rain, but it looks like a cloud is moving away, so we're getting a bit of different weather conditions today as well. Part of Shanghai I've never been to right here. We're starting to see again the iconic skyline, the TV tower there. This is the J Tower, the second tallest building in the world. Hope I'm not wrong, check it. But the second one in China, the tallest in China for sure. And there's supposed to be some type of traditional Chinese garden here. And I thought, let's get closer to the skyline, maybe even head into this business district there with these crazy skyscrapers. Now that's more like it. So heading to these gardens, I love when that happens. I'm just bumping into some type of market area, very obviously China vibes. As you've seen, it has been raining, so water is pouring down there. The man is selling some barbecue. Look at that octopus meat. And yeah, let's walk through this market. It's on our way anyway. Now that right now is absolutely epic. So basically the main road is closed off right now. We're having some what looks like a temple, but looks like a commercial building. They're selling stuff in a huge market with probably millions of people passing throughout the day here. And just the fact of like those buildings are probably real for the most part. And great area overall. We're very close to the Yu Gardens, something like that. We'll check out what that is in a second. But that for me is already one of the highlights, and in many ways so many contrasts today. Like this is probably a little bit more what you would think of when you think Shanghai. I'm seeing a food court. I have to come in, and like this barbecue, I tried it before, it's really good. All kinds of different barbecue they're selling, everything's steaming, everything's cooking. Wow. And the prices are also very reasonable, pretty much for the most part $3-4 you can get a full meal at any of these food courts, and it's humongous. Like it goes all the way in the back. Let's see what they have. Seriously, like that might be some of the most interesting and colorful food courts. Crab. Okay, in the back we're basically coming out to a bit of a tourist street. And honestly, in this neighborhood so far, I'm seeing the most tourists in Shanghai so far. Like a city center, things like that, not as much. Okay, we have to do a little duty for my mom. Buy her a magnet. I'm actually quite happy, so I don't have to look for one. She has a huge fridge full of them, so let's take care of that. Yep, this one. How much?
25.
25. So like $5, yeah? Okay, I'll think about it. We'll budget.
Do 20 okay.
No. I can do $1. 7. Are the negotiations continuing? I thought this is how it works. 15. Okay.
One what?
You have a little bag? Yeah, this one.
You need a bag?
Do you have a small bag? Maybe just small?
Yeah,
No?
I have.
So that was a little negotiation success. We got it down to like $2.50. I'm like, what? $5 for a magnet? Nah, I don't think so. But actually, you know, they also have like big markets, I'm sure, in Shanghai, where I'm sure the prices they will give me are going to be very high. So we might check that out. So this looks actually quite fancy. We got these temple setups. On the bottom is shops everywhere, and at the bottom they're also selling this food. So basically the baozi, I guess they call them, super steamed bun with crab and pork. Must be pretty large. Wow. Still not hungry. Either gonna eat later at the Chinese restaurant in the hotel or maybe have some food. But let's make our way to these gardens. Walk through was the Julu and Old Street market since 19 or something, 100 years basically. This place back there. Here's like a more, let's say, budget market. Could be doing some more negotiations down here. So it seems like the gardens are closed today, but that's fine. I think we already got a good idea of it. Pretty much the market and pavilion area is connected to it. But like I said before, there's these parks pretty much all throughout the city. And this one's facing right into the Shanghai skyline. So let's pass through here. Whoop. So I just have to say, they have some epic parks, and we're pretty much almost made it from the north of the city. So this Wukang area, I think, is like 35 minute drive to the top there. And here we're facing pretty much the business district. Looking forward to see again this sick river view that I saw when I first arrived. And pretty much the modern Shanghai. What I think is really interesting is still kind of how old and new is fusing. So they're still allowing just vendors on a bike to do hot dogs in these districts, which in most countries probably doesn't exist for the most part anymore, or not in the same way. But honestly, to me, I think it's pretty cool. We have made it back on the Bund, and it's quite crazy here. So many buildings on this side are actually very old. There is this crazy amazing place, the Fermont, one of the older legendary buildings. Video about that is coming soon. Quite excited about it. And basically, historically, this site used to be kind of like the hub, the part that has been very developed. From what they told me is this, just a couple of decades ago, it was pretty much flat. Then to build the Oriental TV tower, this iconic thing you've seen in this video throughout, probably in the beginning. And then they developed into the business district, and it's, to me, it's a little bit somewhat similar vibe to Hong Kong, where you have the Victoria Harbor, you have the skyline on the other side, but still quite different, and during some weather conditions perhaps even more impressive, in the sense that the river is a little bit closer. And when I first came out here, when I arrived in Shanghai, I was really blown away. Still very impressive, and depending which side you stand on, because the river is kind of flowing like that, the perspectives and the views change all the time. I'm almost like not recognizing it because I've only been there. And I think there should be ferry boats. If there is, we'll take it. And I just checked on the Shanghai Tower. It is the third tallest tower, this thing over there. And honestly, I should have known, because the second tallest is the Merdeka in Malaysia. But I have to honestly tell you, it might be a bit more impressive, perhaps. In Burj Khalifa is a sick looking building, but it's also thinner. So in terms of the structure itself, all the way to the top, it's quite a wide building, third largest in the world. Yeah, like this Merdeka Tower in Malaysia is just opening up, second tallest tower, but has an antenna. I mean, you know, it looks cool, but the skyline is insane. And this might be something we want to get on. Here, how funny, my sister just sent me this one here. So this is Shanghai right now, pretty much at the bottom. This is how it used to look like. There was nothing crazy. It's okay? Okay. Okay, so it's quite interesting. They have a river cruise, which is like 50 yuans, like $10. And then they have the ferry. Let's see, maybe I can Alipay my way into here. How does that work? Okay, so I just ended up paying cash, 2 yuan. It's like 30 cents. So the cruise, I'm sure, is pretty cool. I don't really have the time for that today. And I always like to... Oh, okay. It is busy. I was like, always like to see the local way of getting around. But let's get in. Let's see what we can see. So nice ferry boat. Obviously, let's go on top. But I don't think we will be able to fight ourselves through here. I think there's a lot of domestic tourism because a lot of people are super excited about seeing it all. Almost more than me, perhaps. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. All right, maybe should have done the cruise then. So one thing you're gonna notice is that people are generally quite in a rush to get in, to get out. It's a bit like as if you don't make it out first, you don't make it out. Especially going in. We have arrived somewhere on the Pudong side, so basically where all the big buildings are. No idea. I mean, I don't know how you call that, but I call that freedom. Just a dude on the street with a chair taking a nap in the business district. Seriously, like, no, it's like very small things where I feel like everything is pretty chill. They still let people, like I said before, the vendors on certain areas, dude on the street sleeping on a chair. To me, and I feel generally pretty chill, like in terms of, I'll probably talk about it in the final video, my general impressions overall, but let's see, the Pearl TV Tower should be like 20-minute walk. We'll do that, we'll get our 20,000 plus steps in today, and then we'll head back and get some food. So I would say what is really cool to be on the other side is for the first time I'm properly getting to see the side I was living on so far, so to say. In the back, the TV tower, we'll head there in a second as kind of like the last spot for today. But generally, what a humongous city in many ways. I mean, probably the largest metropolitan population in the world at the end of the day. And so many different neighborhoods. Like, I've literally been today throughout the whole city. Oh, wow. Chili's. And every single neighborhood was quite different, but at the same time all of them were like really interesting in its own ways. So 30 years ago was completely flat, nothing was here, and now this is kind of like the most futuristic side, that especially when you're staying somewhere there you're seeing. And here on the other side, you basically, the river flows all the way back and the city does not end. It just doesn't end. Here we're seeing some of the oldest building, has been around for hundreds of years. Some of them definitely over 100. That looks quite interesting. The Super Brand Mall, probably one of the more old school buildings on this side. My phone died, so we're gonna do a classic at a World to See move. I have to buy a power bank. It's gonna be my third, but I guess somebody's gonna get a power bank from me because I do really need my connection to make it back easily. So yeah, backdrop off the bond, and let's see if we can get a power bank here quickly and easily, hopefully. In the Super Brand Mall. From all the gold, you might think Well, it's a mall. We need an electronic store. Nice mall, but looks like no proper electronics store. They have a Huawei one, but power bank, like no cables, no contactless charge. So I'm a bit stranded without my phone, but it's an adventure. We'll find home nonetheless. It's a pretty somewhat old style mall. Pretty cool. So, no phone, but getting a bit hungry. Gonna be heading soon probably home. I've walked way too much today, seriously. It's kind of like a little bit New York feeling, where you keep walking, something interesting comes up, it engages you, and then you realize you're burning out. So before I'm completely gonna run out of fuel, decided to fuel up here with some type of noodle. That should hold me over for a couple of hours. And then let's go check out the TV tower, and that'll be it, I think. Oh, how convenient. My phone died, so I can get a power bank here to charge. That's amazing. It's just you need to scan it with your phone. Well, at least something. Wow. So basically have made it exactly to the TV tower, Oriental TV tower, towards dawn. And they have this really cool kind of like walking passage around it. Wow. Just basically around the TV tower, there's one intersection. Bunch of cars passing by, and you have this loop pretty much overlooking. And yeah, it really became iconic. I think whenever somebody says Shanghai, this is what you think of. And it's a very nice way to take it in. So all around it, it's pretty much the downtown, the business district, not downtown, business district. And locals tell me there's not that much to do here, but overall, big city vibe. It looks like further to the back is just like residential buildings, a couple condos. That's probably about it. Well, next try. And this is the Shanghai Tower right there. Oh, sunset. The tower lights up, look absolutely epic. And again, it starts to rain. I would say what a crazy day it has been. Let's head home. So there's my guy for today. Let's see where we can board, probably there. Goodbye, Lotus Tower. Or what is it, Lotus TV Tower? No, not Lotus. What is it? Oriental, something like that. Up. 你好。
你好，我要5啊。
Yes.
好。
谢谢。
拜拜。对，门把手。
So, back in the Middle House. Ooh, what a busy day. Cannot wait to get into the room. I think you can imagine almost what am I doing, not just spending all day long here. Basically, I'm gonna have dinner here probably right now. Hello. Gonna have dinner here right now, and not right now, a little bit later. Until what time is the pool open?
Sorry?
At the pool, until what time is it open?
The cabin room?
Pool.
Pool, open time from 6:30 a.m. to the 11 p.m.
11 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And wrapping up the night at -1. The pool during the day is actually pretty busy. This is like a proper swimming pool, 1.5 meters depth. But after 10 p.m., obviously. Nobody here. They close at 11 p.m., which I think is actually quite great, quite special. So, gonna go for a little swim, and we're gonna call it the proper day in Shanghai. Honestly, I have a bit of a blackout in the sense that I started like 12 and then I was back here at 8. So for 8 hours, I've pretty much been non-stop through all the different neighborhoods. Extremely interesting city. Like, I cannot mention it again. I did not expect so much history, so much different neighborhoods, so many also slow paced, like such a different vibe in one city. You have this huge energy, super energetic city, so much going on, big buildings, big stores, and then small little cafes, little side roads, little, as if it's a different city. Like, and yeah, there's going to be a series of a couple of videos. I'm in Shanghai for a little bit over a week. Going to be also heading to some of the neighboring towns, and generally this place in terms of everything, pretty much the design, the aesthetics, like just this pool area, the lobby. And the couple of nights that I was here, checked out their 2 restaurants. So you have seen Chinese was actually quite a bit with a twist. I would say it was all traditional, but like a little bit, you know. And then the other ones like modern Italian, also nice. And even more so kind of like how it's not a huge hotel, but just the aesthetics, the design, in some ways fairly minimalistic, but just the angles, the architecture, the interior design, let's call it. Not an expert, but I do know when I see a good angle and when I see something that really somebody thought through. And yeah, if you're new here by any chance, here on the channel I document my life around the idea of building a life of freedom around the world. And China is not necessarily a place where I saw spending a lot of time, but for traveling I think it's super interesting. And just being in Shanghai a couple of days, I have to say it surprises me from the fact where there's cities I like to visit to just get an idea what is going on there for a week, couple of weeks, maybe stay in the country for a couple of months. But with China, I thought it would be purely a travel destination to kind of check out, knock it off, and then maybe come to a different city, check it out. But honestly, Shanghai is on the very high list so far for me in terms of big cities I see myself coming back to. So yeah, if you want to see where I am right now, you can join me on Instagram, and let's hop in and see you in the next one. Not gonna lie, the pool is cold, wakes you up good. Seriously, that's just what I needed after such a long exploration. I just checked my step count, 26,000 steps. Oh, my feet were done. But this 20 minutes of sauna, we're gonna be golden. Nice and warm. Got a world to see.